Hey book nerds, welcome to my channel. So in honour of December and Christmas, I thought I would do some kind of wintry video. However, because it's me, I wanted to do something that I thought was on brand for my channel, so I've decided to do a collection of my 5 favourite dark wintry reads. So this is mostly thrillers. There is a couple of horrors on here, and they are specifically on this list not necessarily because they're my favourite thrillers in the world, but because I think they're really atmospheric and really good to read this time of year. So if you're not wanting a cute Christmas contemporary and you've not read one of these, then you should definitely give them a try. So the first one on my list is An Unwanted Guest by Shari Lapena. This is a thriller. It is all about a group of people who go to stay in this cosy hotel. It's like a rustic old hotel, and then a blizzard comes and traps them all in the hotel, and at first it's all fine. You get it's told from multiple perspectives, so you get like a chapter following each character around, kind of similar to how it's done in And Then There Were None, if you've read that. But then a body shows up, and then another body shows up, and the people become scared that there's a murderer among them. They all start to turn on each other, you find out secrets about them, and thriller things start happening. I read this last January, I believe, and it was really great. It was really atmospheric. It's a perfect book for if it's snowing and you're stuck inside and it's all rainy and cold, or snowy and cold. And yeah, it's not my favourite thriller in the world, but it's really well written. It was mostly the solution that let it down for me, so I think I gave it 3 stars out of 5 in the end, but it definitely creates a really good atmosphere. Very similar to An Unwanted Guest, we have Sleep by C.L. Taylor. I actually read this on perhaps what was the sunniest day of the year this year, and the entire time I was reading it I wished that I'd left it for winter. So this is again about a woman who has experienced a bad car accident. She survives the accident, but a couple of her colleagues did not, and she has survivor's guilt. So she decides to move to this remote Welsh island to work at a small hotel. While she's working there is a really bad storm and the guests get trapped in the hotel. This is why I said it's similar to An Unwanted Guest. And then creepy thriller things start happening. I liked this better than An Unwanted Guest, I will say. I thought it was better written. I read it entirely in a day, so it definitely kept me gripped. And this in particular has lots of descriptions of the storms and the cold weather, and it's very atmospheric with it being set in this tiny island in a tiny hotel. So it really is a perfect winter read. If you've not read it, then you should definitely give it a try. I think I gave it 4 stars out of 5. It's pretty good. And a lot of people that I like on BookTube have rated it higher than me, so it might be a new favourite for some people. The next one is definitely a festive book, and it is Hark, the Herald Angels Scream. This is a collection of short stories, and as you may guess from the cover, they are horror Christmas short stories, and this collection is really good. This is one of the first ARCs I ever got, so it has a soft spot in my heart because of that reason, but I was so impressed with this anthology. Normally with horror anthologies, I don't gel with them particularly well. But this one, there were some really, really good stories. I will link my old blog review down below because I did read it over a year ago now, so I can't quite remember the details. But if you can see that list of authors, there's a lot of really good authors in here. I think if I remember correctly, it does lean more towards the horror than the Christmas side. That's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's again a perfect alternative if you want some short Christmas stories maybe to read on Christmas Day when between activities, but you don't necessarily want the typical Christmas romances. The next one is horror bordering on thriller. It's more of a horror. It's just a kind of slower horror, and that is Thin Air by Michelle Paver. This is a super short book. It's really wintry and Christmassy. Just looking at the cover you can see that. This is about a man who, it's set in the past, I think it's set in the 1800s at some point, and he goes on an expedition with his brother to climb this mountain because when they were kids they were obsessed with reading the book of this explorer who successfully climbed this mountain. So he joins in on the expedition, and as they start climbing this snowy mountain, weird stuff starts happening, ghostly things start happening. There's something to do with the expedition that they used to read about that isn't quite what it seems. It was really short, it really packed a very strong punch, the writing is beautiful, and it is genuinely quite creepy. I will say that. I don't usually get scared by books, and I didn't get super scared by this one, but it definitely stuck with me. So again, this is perfect for the super cold days. It'd be really atmospheric to read this kind of claustrophobic mountain climbing story when it's actually cold outside. And it's just a really good read. And the final book is one that I talk about quite a lot, but I have to include it on this list, and that is Frozen Charlotte by Alex Bell. This is a horror book. This is the only 5-star read on this list, but it is like really, really good. It's definitely 5 stars. This is technically a young adult horror, but I'm not sure I 100% agree with that label just because of the graphic nature of the content. I think calling it a young adult horror is maybe accurate in terms of writing style, but it gives the impression that it's going to be a lot softer than it is. And this book is really, really dark. It's got some really creepy stuff in it. It's got some really intense stuff in it. It's basically about this girl who, right at the start of the book, her and her best friend use a Ouija board, and then he gets killed the night after they use the Ouija board. He dies. So with the Ouija board, they try to contact her dead cousin, and she then becomes obsessed, and she decides to go stay with her cousins, the ones who were the family of the one who died, on this weird little island. She's not seen them for years, and she goes to stay with them while she's grieving. And they're all really a little bit unsettling. The house used to be a school, and it is full of these tiny creepy dolls called Frozen Charlottes that were part of this thing, part of the building since way back when. There's a younger sibling who is terrified of bones. There is a middle sibling who seems really friendly and normal, but is a bit edgy about certain topics. And then there's an older sibling who is physically scarred and really antisocial. So our main character kind of joins this family, and she's sort of trying to find out what happened to her cousin who died, but it's more like the story unfolds from there. I'm not going to say any more. There's a lot of stuff with creepy dolls, there's a lot of stuff with body horror. Yeah, it surprises me how intense this book gets, but it's really good. It's really atmospheric. There's a lot. So the story of the Frozen Charlotte dolls is that they're based around a tale of someone who froze to death. So it's kind of, the whole book's got this cold atmosphere, which I think would work really well for wintertime. So yes, so those are all of my dark winter recommendations for now. I might do another video if I can think of more, but it probably will just be this one for the year. Let me know some of your favourite ones. If I've not mentioned any that you think are particularly good for winter, do let me know, because there's a chance I haven't read them and I would love to have more dark Christmassy reads. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. It helps me out massively, and I hope to see you next time.